Oh, you guys can see that. I turn 23 tomorrow. You know what that means. Time to renew your driver's license. Yay! So I just got back from the DMV to renew my driver's license because as an adult, you should always do things last minute. And of course, tomorrow's my birthday, and I realized just the other day that I still haven't renewed my driver's license, and it expires tomorrow. So, yay for me! I still haven't gotten this adult thing figured out. So anyway, I'm preparing myself to go to the DMV, and I'm like, I'm gonna be waiting there for like an hour and a half, and life's gonna be awful, and everything's just going to be garbage. Not quite, actually. So it seems that the DMV has actually sort of like upped their standards. So I walk in and it's very confusing because there's like this little sign that's like, yeah, wait for the next available person to call you over. And I'm like, great. Now I stand here awkwardly as I'm the only person who's walked into the building. And some guy like sees me and he like waves me over. And I'm like, dude, you have like people standing in your line. Like, why are you calling me over? Like, clearly you're busy. And he was like, yeah, hey, what are you here for? And I was like, yeah, I'm here to renew my driver's license. And he was like, okay, go to the kiosk. And I was like, okay. He was like, did you fill out your application online? And I was like, yes. He was like, okay, go to the kiosk and hit the top left button and you'll get a thing. And I was like, okay. So I go and I walk over to the kiosk and I hit the button and it pops out a number A007, and I'm like, hey, I got a pretty small number, like this should be alright. And then I look up at the board and it's all like B142 and stuff, and I'm like, wow. Okay, until I go and I find my seat and away from everyone because people are gross. And I go and I find a seat and I sit there and I start playing on my phone and I'm like, I'm going to be here forever. And as I'm sitting there, I hear all the people that work there. They're all like talking and laughing to one another, and I'm like, hey, it's nice. The building was clean, but I think like just like recently I think they just recently renovated ours or something. I don't really know. Anyway, so I have a seat and I'm listening and they're all laughing and I'm like, these people are really nice. It's gonna be really great. See, what I remember from the DMV from when I got my license the first time when I was 16 years old is it was horribly cramped and gross and no one there had a soul. But apparently that's not the case anymore, which I'm okay with actually because people. Anyway, so I sit down and I have my number and it's A007 and I'm like, alright, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait. I'm going to be here for an hour and a half. I have my phone. It's fully charged just in case, right? So like if I'm here for multiple hours, my phone is charged and it can handle that game that I'm playing. And 40-year-old people walking behind me and being like, what? Totally fine. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting and I'm hearing like people talking behind the desk and they're all laughing and having a good time and like communicating and everyone else is silent. I'm like, okay, you see the occasional flash of the cameras. You're like, all right. And then they start calling numbers. And it's like, B145. I'm like, what? I'm A007. And then I'm like, okay, well, you know, I haven't been here that long. It's fine, you know, calling the next number. Next number, B146. And they just start coming out. B147. B148. And I'm like, wow, this is going by quite fast. You know, it's cool. And I'm like, thanks, man. And all of a sudden I hear this like 40-year-old lady behind me talking to some random stranger. And somehow they got on the conversation of parallel parking. And this 40-year-old lady who drives is like, what is parallel parking? Is that where you back in? And the lady was like, well, you back in, but you like swing your car around and you like park sideways. And she goes, huh? And I'm like, oh my gosh, how have you survived this long? I am a master at parallel parking. When I was learning how to drive, my mother would set up the parallel parking thing and she would make me park 10 times in a row without messing up. So if I got to number 7 and I messed up number 8, I had to start over. I am a master at parallel parking. Whew. Now that we got that out of the way. And so I kind of stopped looking at my phone and I look around for a little bit and all of a sudden this lady comes and sits, not next to me because you don't sit next to strangers in public, that's weird. She comes and she sits down on the row, like down from me, and she just has the cutest little baby. And I'm expecting the baby to like cry and like be upset because she just like sort of left it in the car seat. Like, what's the point in taking him out? It's just something that you have to deal with in these rows of chairs with other people. And she left him there and he was quiet and he was cute and he just sat there and stared at her. And then all of a sudden he started coughing. It was so sad. This isn't relevant to the story at all, but I just thought I would talk about the cute little coughing baby. It was so cute. And even then he didn't get upset. He was just like, oh. And I was like, oh, you're so cute. Anyway, that is way off topic. So I stopped paying attention to my phone, right? And I look up and I see like the TV, right? And apparently, there's something called the MVN, Motor Vehicle Network, because that's a thing that someone invested in. So basically, it's just this television network station where they just play commercials about cars. And there's lots of advertisements for companies that need truck drivers because apparently it's difficult to find a truck driver that's not a drug addict and that has a perfect enough driving record that they feel like they're not going to murder anybody. So as those commercials are flashing by, I'm like, wow, this is actually something that someone has done. It's like when you go to the dentist and they have on like the dental channel and there's like that lady talking about your teeth and you're just like, thanks for that. I appreciate it. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm listening and they start calling more numbers. D107? I'm like, D, we were just on B's. What the heck just happened? C3. This is not bingo. I'm just throwing out numbers at this point. And I'm like, we're getting farther away from A007. That's me. So I go and I'm like looking at everything and I'm like sort of looking around, like looking at my phone and pretending like I'm an adult, that it's not an awkward situation and I'm not freaking out because I'm around people that I don't know and I'm by myself. And so finally they call me and I go to number 9. And after sitting there for about 15 minutes or so, which by the way felt like an eternity. Oh my gosh, it felt like forever. But 15 minutes, that was all it was. Thank goodness. But I go up there and she's like, are you here for this? And she just throws out some like letters at me. And I'm like, I'm here to renew my license. Oh, I'm gonna need your birth certificate, your previous license, and your social security card. Okay? And so I go and I give all of those to her and she's like, okay, and she types some stuff into the computer and she goes, we're gonna give you a temporary one. And I was like, okay. And so she's like, stand in front of the blue wall. And this is the part that I'm dreading, right? Because here's the part where you get your picture taken and it looks forever and it's on your driver's license for years to come. So I go and I stand there and I'm like, and the picture gets taken and the flash goes and I blink and I know that I blink and I'm like, if my eyes are closed in this picture, you better not print that sucker. Anyway, she didn't. My eyes weren't closed. It was fine. However, the picture still looks awful. Like, you think with all the money that they get from taxes, they could invest in some 4K cameras and some good lighting. Yeah, it's okay. I can't either. Right now, this is, oh, in my eyeballs. That's what that is. This is one of those, like, lamp things. This is what this is. That's what my lighting is right now. Ta-da. Oh, I messed it up. It was so good. What have I done? Oh, well, oh no. Well, we're just gonna have this lighting for the rest of the video. Why are you blurry? Stop it. Anyway, so I get done and she prints it out and I pay. I walk out the door with all of my stuff and I go to my car and I realize that it's only 9:02. I walked in the building at 8:40. It took like 20 minutes. And I was like, hey, I wasn't here for like an hour and a half. And I was like, I gotta go home and get ready for work. Anyway, so I go and I get out of the parking lot, and I am a fast driver, and I was speeding down the road trying to get home because people are gross. And all of a sudden I see a police officer come up behind me in an SUV, and I like slow way down, and I'm like, he clocked me, he's gonna pull me over. And he gets up behind me, and I'm not seeing any lights, I'm not hearing any sirens, I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden he pulls over next to me, and he drives by me menacingly like, yes, I saw you speeding, don't do it again. And I was like, okay, thank you. Anyway, that was my story of the DMV. I hope you liked it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, please hit that like button. And as a birthday present to me, if you guys want to like hit the subscribe button or something. I don't really know. It's whatever you want to do, really. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I love you. And until next time, bye-bye.